Sunday. It's Giggles and Gratitude. I'm Dena.
And I'm Tia. And today is September 8th, 2024.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
All day long.
Tia, you know something? We have listeners all over the world. We've discovered that. And we kind of have an average amount of listens per day. Not listeners, but listens. There may be a whole lot of listens on one episode. There's really no rhyme or reason to it, but we kind of have an average that seems to work out every day. But this is something I hadn't told you. One day last week, when the report came in, the analytics came in, we had 10 times the amount of listens in one day that we normally have. We had more listens in one day than the entire week usually. And I wanted to wait and say it here to you today. And I thought, what in the world just happened? So I began to investigate because I had to figure out what in the world is going on. And I looked at our state, listens by state. We hadn't added any states. We're at 42, including District of Columbia. So share with friends in those other states. The countries, China had been added. And China was number 2 under the United States for the most listeners. So I had to come from China. So I started researching. And the best I can figure is that China is very particular about what their population can do, is allowed to do and listen to and participate in. So they work with Apple. They used to be banned, podcasts from the United States. Now they are reviewing podcasts and allowing certain ones in. So it's a slow, long process. So apparently we have been allowed into China. And I think that they like to allow in harmless
nonsense
that won't influence their citizenry. I don't know whether to take that as an insult or a compliment, but I want to thank the Chinese citizens for listening. Now the number dropped the next day back to pretty much an average. So that was like we were pushed in and everybody's like, what's this? And they listened. Mm-hmm. Will they come back? We'll see. We'll see how the numbers average out. But number one, I thought that was very, very... What's your first thoughts about that? Because I kind of threw that on you out of the blue. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's great. I know they probably would not allow Giggles and Gratitude in.
I wonder.
Well, because they are censored still. I could understand them letting in, something because,
They like educational things.
Right. Well, they are
seriously,
educational,
they do.
but,
yeah.
I mean, they're funny, too.
It's just like TikTok. This is what I want to talk about, our perception of other countries and what they're really like. And TikTok, there's a TikTok for China, and there's a TikTok for everybody else, apparently. The TikTok for China is educational, positive, uplifting, improves you, where TikTok, all the other countries just let whatever, let's let people waste their time. This is the theory. We'll let American citizens just waste their time doing goofy stuff and doing dances together and all that kind of stuff where we're educating our people over here. That is the impression, which is why, government has problems with TikTok. But my thought was, I picture China a certain way, and all we have to go upon is what we're told, and they go upon what they're told about us in other countries. And the leaders, there's issues, we don't get too political, but really we have no say-so over what leaders do. In other words, if you feel a certain negative way about a country, it's not the people, it's not the citizens that you feel that way about. I know people who will dislike a whole country when the country is the people, individuals that are kind of at the mercy of the government. You know what I'm saying? It's like countries are people. They're all different people with different wants and needs and feelings and desires. And you can't just lump a whole, especially China, I mean, that's billions, right, of people, I think, into a certain stereotype. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're able to hear us now, which is pretty awesome. Like you said, they may not be hearing this episode. I hadn't thought about that because of religion. But they're letting the other things in. And I think we probably need to say hi to him on You Know Something instead of here.
I'm not going to sing their national anthem, though.
Oh, no, no, no,
Promise
no,
I'm
no.
not.
No, no, no. I won't be playing that.
Okay.
But it just made me stop and think how I stereotype certain countries and whole groups of people because of what I'm told, rather than thinking those are individuals I don't even know.
Right.
And they can't help what their governments do. So we may never be on there again, but I think it can be real detrimental to lump a whole group of people.
Well, you don't ever want to generalize anybody.
Yeah, stereotyping, which is wrong, and prejudging and all that. kind of stuff.
Generalizing.
Yeah, it's not fair
Same
because
thing.
we're certainly not all the same.
No, we're not.
You have to love everybody, and even people you think you disagree with. I guess is what I'm roundabout trying to say. So anyway, welcome, China.
You went all the way around the world to say that.
Yeah. I was just trying to be careful about what I said because I don't want to ruin it, So anyway, last week was Labor Day, and we talked about eating hot dogs and how you would never eat a hot dog again because we did learn that there's human DNA in hot dogs, but it's just hair. It's just hair and skin. Shedding of skin. So don't worry about it. It's not ground up human or anything like that. So it made me think about swimming and eating, and I was thinking about what people were doing on Labor Day. Did your mother ever tell you that you had to wait an hour after you ate before you could get back in the water?
My swim coach did.
Your coach did? Really?
Well, you have to.
You still believe that?
Yes.
What
I
do
think your body should digest because I swam on a swim team forever. You need I don't think it's necessarily an hour, but you need to let because you get cramps.
Okay. All right. That's what my mother always told me. Even if I went to the concession stand and got a little cinnamon sucker, if you eat that sucker, you're going to have to wait another hour before you get it.
No.
No, you think she was just telling me that to keep me from eating
Yes.
candy? Okay. Well, I wonder if that's really true. So, of course, I Googled it. No, it is not true that you can't swim after eating. But hold on. There's no need to wait. Doctors say that in most cases, there's no need to wait at least 30 minutes after eating to go swimming. According to the Red Cross, eating before swimming does not pose any dangers. However, if you're planning on swimming laps or exercising, you may want to let your food digest to avoid cramps. So you are correct. And I'm correct in that I wasted hours and hours sitting on the side of the pool with my little skinny legs flipping in the water because I had to wait an hour because I ate at the concession stand. So thanks, Mom. I lost all that good pool time.
Yeah. Dang it.
I'll never get it back.
Okay, and I'm sorry, but it seems like every single time we do, like, either a You Know Something episode or a Giggles and Gratitude, there's something that always, like, slaps me in the face after we've already finished that. And I don't think you could forget this, but you said, well, Tia, why did God let Jeffrey Dahmer be? Okay.
I know. I kind of hit you out of the blue with that, so I thought she's going to research that somewhere.
Oh, no, I didn't research it. I mean, I answered you in exactly what I believe. I mean, I don't take anything back from that. But this is what C.S. Lewis said.
Okay.
And I thought it was profound because it actually explains it better than I did. It said, if a thing is free to be good, it is also free to be bad. And free will is what has made evil possible. Why then did God give them free will? Because free will, though it makes evil possible, it also is the only thing that makes possible any love or goodness or joy worth having. The happiness which God designs for his higher creatures is the happiness of being freely, voluntarily united to him.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Yeah, C.S. Lewis is great.
Amazing.
Great. Imagine he could say it better than you. That's amazing.
Oh, no. I wish so bad I was just half the person.
I'd say you had a little more time to think about it and edit it and reword it than you did but...
Oh, no, but I said free will.
Yeah.
And, I mean, and that's exactly what God had.
Hello, Siri. Tia's watch was answering your question.
I know, but it's turned off. I don't know what.
That's so weird.
That's weird. And it was actually, it was recording every single thing we said.
Well, that's fine, what we said that time.
I know, but that's weird.
Some things we said we wouldn't want it to
no
record. Yeah, he said that beautifully, and I think I'll post that because I think that's just the biggest question I see online of non-believers or people who are wondering, not necessarily, they're like, but why?
Well, you know what? I'll just make you a copy of that, and then you can just put it in your pocket. And when somebody says something, you just say, read this.
That's a good idea.
Isn't it?
Yeah, you could have it printed out on little cards, like a business card or whatever, too. That's cool.
Right. Yeah. You could.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome.
And you could just leave it laying places even.
Right. You could, actually.
Good idea, Tia.
I know.
Spread the truth, girl. Spread the truth.
Well, hold on, because I got another one from CS. Life with God is not immunity from difficulties, but peace in difficulties. No, I just love how he says things.
Yeah, it's just, he says it in such a simple way. Perfect word choice.
Right.
No extra word. It makes it so clear.
He doesn't need extra words just because he's just so profoundly good, I think.
Well, he's not doing a live podcast. Not live, but he's not doing a podcast without script. He would fumble like we do, I'm sure.
I mean, we need some script. Don't you think?
No. We'll just say anything that pops out of our mouth. I saw a movie, speaking of spreading a message during a hard time in the country, being faithful. Do you know who Lee Daniels is?
Yes.
Director.
Mm-hmm.
He did, what was the, Precious was like his really, really big movie they won Oscars for. I heard him on a radio show and he was promoting a movie, a horror movie. I'm not a big horror movie. I like thriller, suspense, but this is a horror movie. And while they were interviewing, you know, it sounded like your typical haunted house movie. It's Halloween time. So, but then he said, really, honestly, this is a spiritual movie. There's a great evil and darkness that most people are being oblivious to or ignoring. And I'm not. I see it and I feel it, and it's getting stronger every day. And I wanted to, he said, I've had this script in my pocket even before Precious, but I just didn't want to associate myself with horror movies and have that. He said, I believe in dark and light and attaching yourself to certain things, and certain things will attach themselves to you. So I didn't want to make it because it was based on a true story. But I kept it in my back pocket. I owned the rights to it. And he said, and now I felt it's the time to do it because we are making choices between dark and light and good and evil. And it's a spiritual-based movie about calling on Jesus and God to help you in a horror situation, in a horrible situation. Like I say, it's based on a true story. He took some liberties, but I thought, I think I'm going to check it out because he used the word Jesus on a radio program. I could tell they were uncomfortable with that and kind of sloughed over it. They were like, oh, so tell us about the demon. They were into the gore of it. Weren't comfortable with him saying, but he just kept saying it, And so I thought, I want to support that. I think we have to support that anywhere people are, quote, brave enough to mention God's name in a secular movie. It's not like it was on PureFlix or whatever. It was on Netflix. So I watched it, and it was I had Glenn Close in it. Monique, I don't know if you know who Monique is.
I've seen this advertised.
You have the Deliverance.
Yes.
That's what it's called. And it was scary. It was gory. It was exciting. It was suspenseful, just like a regular horror movie. But it kind of harkened back to the movies where, you have exorcisms and things like that, where good, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's good versus evil and calling on God to help you in situations like that, and based on a true story. So I wanted to support it, and I think it's worth a watch. Rarely do I watch a movie that I feel like I can come in here and feel comfortable saying it'll entertain you and it has a good message. And I'd like to make it popular. I'd like to make secular movies popular that actually say the word Jesus in them, because they're few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
And why can't you just have a normal movie that's entertaining and God is mentioned and Jesus is mentioned and praying is done? That's not a Christian movie on a Christian channel. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like we want to support that. So it's called The Deliverance. It's on Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, I don't know what to tell you, but maybe you can borrow your friend's password. But anyway, called The Deliverance. I'll include a link. Direct.
You're talking about watching movies. I watched a movie that was, there's been several of them, I guess probably in the early 2000s. This one was actually Kevin Sorbo
Yeah.
produced this one. It was in 2023, and it's The Left Behind, and it's about the Antichrist.
Oh, I've heard of it.
And I've seen like that movie before. I don't know what made me want to watch it again, but I think it's that Max Lucado book that you brought up first, and then I ordered it.
Yeah. You're going through that book. Don't let me ruin your train of thought, but while you're saying that, we might need to, you might need to review that, or maybe share a little message every week if you want from it. We want to encourage people to buy it, but I think you're going to have a lot to share. For not everybody can afford to buy a book, all the time, but that might be something we talk about off air. Maybe doing a little study of that book. I mean, I think that would be okay to do. It's up to you, whatever you think, but. You go ahead. The Left Behind is what you're talking about.
Right. But the reason I think I watched it is because of actually doing the study with Max Lucado. Mm-hmm. But he just tells it like it is. And then there are 19 to 20 minute little sessions that you do. And then you have the study guide. And no, it's just really, it forced me to think about this being the fourth quarter. I'm not God. I don't know. And, but I will say this, that I am more expectant now of something to happen. And I'm actually waiting now.
You're anticipating.
Yes. On edge, excitement.
From reading this book.
Yes, and I don't want to go through the tribulation. I mean, I want to be raptured. I want to be taken straight directly to heaven.
Mm-hmm. I don't guess anybody wants to go through that.
I mean, I know, but I mean, you see the world today, and let's just be honest. I mean, Dena, it's we're now being told, because in some of the questions he asked is like, how does this differ from the way you were brought up or you were raised? Well, for me and you, it's night and day. Mm-hmm. I mean, because we were brought up in an era where, you were taught, yes, sir, no, ma'am, manners. We're taught, places were closed on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have all that that we're having that's being thrown in our face right now, is the way I look at it. Mm-hmm. You may have a difference of opinion. Yeah. Everything's changed. I feel like the world that I was brought up in no longer exists. And I'm having things shoved down my throat that I 1,000% do not believe in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if every generation feels this way or if this is a special time, but I've wondered that too. I thought, well, when do you get to a certain age, do you feel like you just don't belong? You feel so out of place in the world. I think about people like back in the 60s. If you think about the drugs and the free love and the Vietnam War, there was a lot of revolution going on there. Right. A lot of clothing was different, music changed, and I wonder about how people who were, say, in their 60s or 70s were feeling at that time. Did they feel like, wow, get me out of here? I don't understand what's happening here.
You know what? That's an excellent point, and I think probably so. It's just that even from that period of time till this period of time, I think we've seen the biggest changes ever in just the last, say, 15 years, mm-hmm. and maybe not even that much, I agree, and I think what a lot of it might be is technology, the internet. Like-minded people are able to gather together, whereas before you might say, well, I disagree with that woman, she never should have said that, you're watching on TV, and there it drops. Or you might tell your friend, let's don't watch that show anymore because this lady said this. But now you can get online and find thousands and thousands of people to commiserate with and build the revolution, build that movement. Exactly.
So there's so much out there, and so things are able to change quicker and faster, and obviously we're not going to agree with them. But I mean, having said all that, I know what you're saying, and it's funny because I was telling my mom this morning, she was watching the news, which I try not to watch, and I said, Mom, they're playing out the Bible. They're doing everything that the Bible said would happen. And they're probably not believers. They don't really even realize what they're doing, but are like, well, that's no surprise. We knew that was going to happen because I read about it, and now you're actually doing it. They're bringing about the rapture, by what they're doing. So they don't even know it. So
it's completely written out. I mean, God didn't leave it in the dark. I mean, He left us clear.
It's almost like we read the novel and now the movie's on, and we know. Like,
I know.
Yeah, look what happens next.
Right, exactly. And something that's just, I just saw this, Christine Kane, and I love her. Sometimes when you're in a dark place and you think you've been buried, but you've actually just been planted. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right now, I do feel like I'm in the world, and the world period is kind of like a dark place. But I do feel like this. I think there's a rhyme and a reason I'm here, and I was born into this particular generation.
Right.
So I think I've been planted by God here for a specific reason, a specific purpose.
Yeah. I agree, and I think there are eras of time that are, like you say, more significant and more changes are happening, and it's hard, it's painful, and it's kind of turned your world upside down on what you believed. And I think, I'm not trying to, blow it out of proportion, but that's why I asked if you wanted to do this podcast with me, because I felt so moved that I couldn't find anything to listen to that wasn't offending my nature. I think, oh, this is good, and then it would just start to get outrageous. And I think, is there not anything anywhere? I mean, obviously there are Christian podcasts, but I enjoy learning about things and doing hearing about celebrity stuff without all the other.
As do I.
So it was like, was that our purpose for being moved to do this? Was that our purpose for being in this time to try?
I thought our purpose, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought our purpose was we were going to do this for something that we could put out there, that there was no politics, no cursing, and
no murders.
Right, murder mysteries or whatever, but then we'd have fun where somebody could just listen to the something podcast and learn something, giggle probably more than we ever expected, because we're just like weird. I mean, we really are weird.
We're idiots.
Right. And then
when you say you mean me.
Yeah. I don't have a mouse in my pocket. But another thing with our Giggles and Gratitude, I think that the reason we started doing that is because if we could just touch one person, it would make it all worth it. It's just one person. And like Christine Kane also said, God uses rescued people to rescue people.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we've never said we're perfect. And
exactly.
Haven't screwed up.
Do you not feel like you've been rescued? I mean,
absolutely.
I do too.
Absolutely.
I mean, again and again and again.
Yeah. And I feel like my big rescue was pretty late in life. I'm so lucky that I didn't die the first years of my life, because even though I was joined a church, I was baptized and said I was saved, I wasn't living that way. You know what I mean? I was not in tune with it. I mean, I was a good, quote, good person, but I didn't think about God as much as
I know, but there's a whole lot of great, good people that will not get into that narrow path into heaven.
Right.
What I do now, I actually put a lot of thought into, not that I don't mess up, I mess up daily. And sometimes a lot daily. I'm sorry I'm bringing up Christine Kane. It's just that I just kind of got into her
She's great.
a lot. But This is another thing she said. You know you've grown when you truly care about the impact your words and deeds have on others.
Yeah, when you care about it. Yeah. You know you've grown when you truly care about the impact, circle, your words and deeds have on others, your impact on others.
Right.
Right. I
Okay,
totally agree.
I think that we both have grown immensely in that. Like, we actually do care about what we put out.
Yeah. We're not doing this for money. That's for sure.
Obviously.
I mean, I enjoy...
Mama hadn't had a new pair of shoes, and I remember when.
Exactly. So it's a lot of time, and it actually costs money, but it's fellowship with you. You always look forward to it, sitting together and having this conversation.
Absolutely.
It's a labor of love right now.
Right.
And we want to do the right thing and say the right thing. I put a lot of time and effort, so it doesn't always seem like it, in what we're going to do and what I say. It's all real. It's not contrived, or I'll say this so people feel this, but we do realize the impact that we have. However small compared to most podcasts, we do have an impact. And the China thing is kind of a slap in the face to make me realize that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when something changes, when we hit a milestone, I think, you know, we need to be intentional with what we say and what we do. So that really speaks to me, what she's saying that. So
Okay,
we have grown.
Okay, may I do one last
Sure,
one?
you do what you want.
No, I'm really like hammering her into. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
awesome. I think she's good.
Okay, this is also Christine Kane. With God, you can be unafraid of the dark, unwilling to hold back, undaunted in your faith, unashamed by your calling, unhindered by your limitations, unstoppable in the face of difficulty, unshakable in the face of your past, unflinching in the face of disappointment. Now,
Love it.
I do too. Because we can be all of those. In the face, I mean, who do we fear if we have God?
Exactly.
No one.
It makes you pretty powerful. I
It
thought about
does.
that before. I thought,
It does.
You know what? I'm pretty powerful because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to die. I mean, you know, you think, how will it happen? Will it hurt? You know, it's the anticipation. But ultimately, that's the worst thing somebody can do to you, I guess, is, oh, I think, what are they going to do, kill me? You know, anytime I have them to do something new or whatever.
I mean,
so I'm probably good. But if they do, I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Right.
So
You're exactly right.
Yeah. It's a powerful place to be.
Okay, I don't know how we really did go off on that. But, you know, I think that's a great idea, and I will share parts, because I do think that people do actually need to get the book.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I will share some things starting next Giggles and Gratitude next Sunday, because I think he's powerful.
Yeah. Just little tidbits that you take, your takeaways.
Yes.
Your takeaways. Yeah, we still
and
want
I've got
you.
a lot.
That's
I mean,
good.
Because I just sat there and in parts of the study guide, I literally chilled.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it made me chill.
Goosebumps.
Yes.
That's awesome. And say the name of the book again and the author for someone, and I'll include a link. But...
Okay, it's Max Legato, and the title of the book and the study guide is What Happens Next. And it's your guide to end times.
Right. And I totally interrupted you, and we went off on a different, well, it wasn't really a different tangent. We just expounded on it and left your watching the movie. Tell the movie name again that you watched.
Left Behind. I mean, they've had several, but this one was actually, it's the newest one. It was produced came out in 2023. Okay. And it's got Kevin Sorbo, and actually his daughter's in it, which kind of like, wow.
Where can they find?
I watched it on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Okay. I think a lot of people have that if they have Amazon.
But buckle up. I mean,
buckle up, Buttercup.
No, I'm not
it's
kidding.
Heavy.
Whew.
We don't want to do any spoilers.
It just makes you. You'll
is.
totally finish that movie with. Ooh, what if? That's what you'll be asking yourself. What if?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'll include links to.
You just kind of looked at me like,
I know. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking, do I want to watch it?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
For sure.
It's a series of movies? Should I start with?
Well, wait a second, because I read the whole entire Left Behind series.
Oh, okay.
This part is just the part of the Antichrist, because then there's tribulation, and then there's apocalypse, and then. But I remember
Just a little light reading.
no, it was a whole series, but because Greg was watching, my husband was watching it. He was watching the tail end, and he went, oh, and I said, I remember exactly where we were, because I know this is weird, but I love for him to read to me. We used to sit out on our deck, and we would go through multiple series of books. I loved it. But we were on our way to Michigan. I was driving, and he got to this point in the book about where the movie was. I loved it. He said, buddy, he said, you're going to have to quit putting on the gas and letting it off, putting on the gas. But I said, you're freaking me out. I was so nervous because, I mean, it is in a part that...
That's funny.
And he reads so well anyway. And he just, raises his voice and lowers it, and I'm like...
It's like listen to an audiobook.
Right.
Your own very own audiobook. I think that's so sweet that you guys do that. And what a great way to bond,
Mm-hmm.
Because you could be reading a book, he's reading something else, and you say, I wish you'd read this book. But you guys are sharing it.
Right.
Do you stop and discuss at times what he reads, or do you just let it flow?
Baby, on those books, you always had to discuss. I mean, it's been a while. People do a devotion in the morning or whenever, we both are sitting down at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then he'll read a devotion, then we'll discuss it, because it's kind of hard not to when they've got questions at the end.
Oh, I see.
So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's still great. What a great way, like I say, to bond and to bring yourself closer as a couple. And
yeah, it is.
I mean, you're on your own spiritual journey when it comes to it, but it's great to have a partner. Your partner and everything else. Why not your spiritual journey? Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly.
I love that. I didn't know that. He does have a good voice.
Maybe I'll...
You have to tell me everything you do, and I'm not
okay,
here.
I will. Darn.
Well, not everything.
Not everything. Just start texting. You're not gonna believe what we're doing right now.
Never mind.
Okay.
I'm squeezing a pimple on Greg's butt. All right. Well, we better get to Tia time. You got a good one today, I bet, don't you? They're always good.
Well, I mean, this one is Sister, I'm with you.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
we love
yeah,
them.
it's good.
All right. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We were a little heavy today, but sometimes that happens.
We kind of did, but that was like way impromptu.
Yeah, totally. Wasn't anything on my list.
Mine either. I mean, other than I had a lot of this Christine Kane only because I just really got dug into her this past week.
I follow her on Instagram. I enjoy, I don't always visit as much as I should, but every time I do, I think, why don't I come back to this site more often? So thanks for reminding me. Well, we hope you guys got something from this today, and be fearless. There's no reason to be afraid, as Tia just told us. And I'll include links to those movies that we talked about and the books, since there is a book series too. And you'll just find those in our show notes. And I also wanted to just mention, we are on YouTube. People are starting to discover us there. It's the same as what you hear on any of your podcast apps, but there's closed captioning on there.
Oh.
So I have been told I talk really fast. When I get into a subject, I start, but it's underneath. They may get some words wrong. It might be kind of funny to watch, but there is closed captioning if you need that. And every movie I watch, I turn on the closed captioning.
I bet you $1,000 closed captions don't even know what I'm saying most of the time.
I saw your eyes kind of
We're really not sure what that word was that she just used.
It's called Southern. We speak Southern.
Oh, it's way Southern.
Anyway, I love you, Tia. I love your little Southern heart, your Southern voice, and everything about you. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And we love you guys, and thank you so much for listening. Check out our YouTube channel. Links are all in the show notes, whether you listen there or wherever you listen. There's show notes to link to all the stuff that we talked about today. And stay tuned for Tia time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to Tia Time. Today I'm doing Sister, I'm With You, and this one is by Amy. I love it. Okay. You are a person That's it. Just a person. So your time is limited. Your energy is limited. Your capacity is limited. The number of things you're capable of doing in a day is limited. The number of people you're able to please in a day is limited. The number of friends you can allow to get really close to you is limited. You can't be best friends with everyone. So say yes to what matters most. Say yes to who matters most. I think we all need people who are kind and inclusive and loving and generous with what we have. But we can't give what we don't have, you know? No matter how hard we try, we just can't. Some people might be disappointed. Some people might judge you or claim you didn't do enough or say enough or be enough. But look at your heart, and if you can truly say that you did your best, that your priorities were in the right place, rest easy and hold your head high. Silence the hate and shh the guilty conscience. You're amazing, but you're a person. Don't exhaust yourself trying to be more. I absolutely love this because every single one listening can relate to this and not push yourself to be everything to everybody, because you can't. You're really just one person. So, have a blessed week. I love you. Bye-bye.